Greetings, my name is Shelley Oglan and I'm the founder of Accelerate, Leading People Forward, a personal and professional development company. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank you for allowing me to share my story with you. I can tell you I would have never imagined I would be an author, exposing my life's adversities in a book for all the world to see. And I'd really like to take you back to almost 1 year ago today and how that began. I was managing director for the Windsor chapter of eWomen Network, attending my first conference in Dallas. And I remember my friend meeting me there and Sandra giving us a little tidbit, us managing directors, about a book that she was preparing to do and looking for authors to fill this book. And I can tell you I was so excited for my friend, knowing it was her life's dream to be an author and to share her story. And I remember racing back to my room that evening and my key dropped and I'm fumbling for my key and I hear this voice and it's like, Shelley, you need to stop playing small. And I thought, okay, you know, I'm hearing things, and I pick up my key and I take a couple steps and it's like this loud voice, Shelley, you need to stop playing small. And I remember looking around as if somebody's talking to me, but here I am alone by myself in the hall with my key and there's dead silence. And so now I'm a little spooked. It's like this voice was very real. And so I take the key and I get in my door and it's just sitting there in my mind. You need to stop playing small. And I remember picking up the phone because I wanted to hurry and call my friend to make sure she arrived early in the seminar so she could be a part of this new book offer that was being offered. And I remember being so excited for her and, you know, getting her on the phone, make sure you're there. And so when I hung up the phone with her, this voice, it just was over and over like a recording. And I'm like, where is this coming from? It was like God speaking to me. And I remember falling asleep. And the next morning, getting up early and meeting my friend in the seminar and hearing all about this book and what was being, you know, offered and, you know, what kind of authors they were looking for. And I remember thinking to myself, oh, that would never be me. I would never be good enough for a book. I don't have a story to tell. And as the days went by in that conference, that voice kept getting louder and stronger. And I remember by about the third day talking to a couple people and it really speaking to me. It was like I should be in this book. And then, you know, of course, your self-doubter happens and starts to talk to you. Oh, you're not worthy enough. You don't have enough. You don't have credentials. I remember listening to all these speakers, and a lot of them had PhDs and doctors, and I'm thinking, I could never be one of them. And I'm sure many of you feel that way. But I can also tell you, for years, people have asked me, how did you do it? How did you come from the life you had? And how did you overcome it? And how did you, kids, and how did you, how? And I remember thinking, wisdom versus knowledge. I don't have the knowledge, I guess the educational knowledge, but I sure had a lot of wisdom. And one of the speakers there profoundly touched me. And her name was Dr. Venus Opal-Reese. And I remember her speaking at a luncheon for us and telling all about her life's adversities. And I remember it had such an impact on me because her story was very much like mine. And it really amounted to your self-worth equals your net worth. And always my self-worth was I'm never good enough, I'm never smart enough, I don't have the education. There was always a reason. And I'm sure many of you have your own reasons. But by the end of the week, that voice was so strong, and I went and talked to the publisher, and I remember her saying, Shelley, don't worry about it. Sandra hugged me and said, girlfriend, you are so in this book. That was a year ago, almost, and I can't wait to celebrate this year's conference. And here I am, never imagining I would be sitting in front of a camera telling my story to the world, let alone my adversities nonetheless. So I'd like to thank you once again for taking the time to allow me to share my story, and I hope as you continue with my story that you will understand that if I could touch one person, if one person could relate to my story, then I've done my job. And what I'd really like to leave you with is no matter how hard the circumstances or what we face, there's always hope. And just remember, it's not the circumstance itself that matters. It's how you handle the circumstance that defines the difference. And if you'd like to read more about my story, you can see it on www.shelleyoglan.com.